We're back on the test server once again, with the main attraction this time being the brand new weapon, the Chain Blade. We haven't seen a new congeneric weapon for quite some time, but now the longsword has finally gotten its congeneric counterpart. So let's jump into free training to check it out and see how it differs from the longsword. The basic 1-2-3 horizontal and vertical chains are both identical to the longsword, nothing new there. The jump and crouch attacks are also the same as longsword. Where it starts to get different is at the charged blue focus attacks. Horizontal 1.0 is a multi-strike attack that spins the chain around in front of us, dealing 4 small instances of damage followed by a large final hit at the end. Horizontal 2.0 is the same attack, with more damage on each of the small strikes, however, it deals the same amount of damage on the final strike. Vertical 1.0 sends the entire weapon out in front of us, where it spins and does damage over 5 hits. The first hit that pushes the enemy back does a very small amount of damage, and the attack can still catch an enemy without dealing that first small hit if done from max range. Vertical 2.0 is the same attack, with more damage on every strike. We can continue after any of the charged attacks with a horizontal for a blue focus follow-up. Before we look at combos, let's check out the Souljades for the Chain Blade. First is Ground Crusher, which says it alters the horizontal 2.0 and the follow-up attack afterwards. Now, if we do horizontal 2.0, we get this attack. This can also be followed up on with a horizontal. However, this move has even more potential. After the initial spin, when your hero is pulling the chain back to whip the enemy, you can use horizontal or vertical to alter the ending. Horizontal ending pulls the enemy towards us with a gold focus attack, which can provide some useful displacement, but it does not let us start a combo on the enemy. The horizontal follow-up is still available after this attack. The vertical ending is the opposite. It does a whip attack forward that displaces the enemy away from us. The horizontal follow-up is available after this attack, but it's not likely to connect on the same target. The next Jade is Blazing Cyclone, which gives charged vertical attacks a slight base damage bonus, but more importantly applies burning fire damage to the enemies it hits. Not only is this Jade very straightforward, but I think Jades that apply burn can be useful in many different scenarios, since burning cuts healing in half while it deals continuous tick damage. Then we have Sin Cleaver, altering the crouch horizontal attacks. It says it also does sliding horizontal attacks, but that must not be working right now either. Honestly, this one looks pretty scary to fight against, since it is so quick and isn't blue focus, so it can't be parried. This one reminds me of Tai Chi Fan. Here's what Cyan Fang does to the horizontal chain ender. This is pretty cool. I like how it spins around and hits everything, even extending the hurt box behind your character, but that also means this thing is extra parryable, so maybe be careful with this one. Here's the normal parry attack, which can be followed up on with a jump horizontal. And the Sap Parry, which is much like Longsword's Sap Parry, and can also be followed up on with a jump horizontal. That covers the basics, so now let's look at some combos. This weapon follows the same combo structure as the longsword. If you know longsword combos, you know chain blade combos. On this test server, I can also preview the new Nunchuck Souljade coming to the game, which right now they're only calling Sanlong Mia Yonggwen, alongside Akos' rework, which I'll be doing a full video on once it goes live, as well as the drastic changes coming to the talent glyph system, which looks like a lot of fun to make builds with, especially since there's actually a diverse range of options that can do something meaningful. Like this one that says, while sprinting, hold dodge to enter purple focus rush. You move faster but consume 23 or 13% stamina per second. That sounds awesome. Or this one that's like Skyforce, it says, defeating an enemy with a skill reduces that skill's cooldown by 50 or 100%. Or even this one that says, that means if you have 2,000 Darktide coins when your armor breaks, it'll heal 12 or 20% of your armor on a 1-minute cooldown. So now that you're familiar with the main new content, let's look at the Chain Blade in action.